Welcome to another episode of DBS. Today we are going to be reviewing Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes' first time in the line of the Unrivaled collection. So today we will be going over, let me write it down here, Brandy Rhodes and Cody Rhodes. Now, we will be going over accessories. We will be going over quality, mobility, the realism of the figure, and the attire they chose for the figure. And that will give me an overall score of how I feel about these figures. If you haven't seen the Chris Jericho and the Kenny Omega one, that is the first one I'm doing, and the next one I'm doing is the Young Bucks. And that is the whole first series. And let's go ahead and go with Brandy Rhodes first. Now, I will tell you that this packaging, it looks nice. It's hard to keep in a good shape. You pretty much have to tear it up to get everything out. That's what I saw in my last video anyways. It'll probably be the same here. And some of these figures struggle with skin color. They're not exactly realistic on the skin color. And hopefully they will get better with Series 2 and beyond with that. And this is no different. We are struggling to get this out without completely ruining the package. And there we are. Brandy Rhodes. I like to set it up in the background, but it looks like junk when I do that. Now, Brandy Rhodes, as far as accessories go, this is worth 20 points. Brandy Rhodes comes with nothing. The woman has no accessories that come with her. She is just a figure. So for that, unfortunately, she is going to get a 0 out of 20. No accessories for the figure. The only figure that does not get any accessories. Now, I think that's a little messed up. And she's very hard to stand up too on these heels. She's got heels. They don't like to stand up that well. I don't know if I can get her to stand up at all. These heels aren't even touching all the way down. So we're gonna have to lean her back because those heels don't touch the floor. So for accessories, we're going to give her a 0 out of 20. No accessories. The quality of the figure coming out, there are no blemishes that I see on her. The quality is very good coming out. She doesn't have any of that plastic that some of the other two, the Chris Jericho and the Kenny Omega, had some plastic on there. And again, I have to lean her back because she does not stand up. So quality, she's going to get a 10 out of 10. Mobility, as far as what is moving here. So she's got some feet here. They're not really doing any moving, even though they look like they're attached to maybe move. The boots are moving fine. The knees are double jointed, which is something that the WWE line struggles with, is double jointed knees for the women. The head is moving pretty good. The head is a little loose on her, but it's not wobbly when it's just on its own. The arms are moving okay. And I feel like the woman does crack a little less with the arms, but you can still hear that little crack. But the movement overall is good. We're going to give that a good 10 out of 10. You just can't get her to stand. If you look at her feet, like the heels are not even with the bottom of her feet, which makes her very hard to stand. So let's give her a 10 out of 10 for mobility. Realism. The realism of the figure, I mean, what she's wearing looks great. I'm having trouble with the head scan. I don't think that looks very much like her. So I'm struggling with the realism of the face. The realism's worth 30 points. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 20. Oh, I almost had her standing there. I'm going to go ahead and give her a 24 Maybe if I put her on, I don't know, man. I don't know how you would get her to stand up. I'm going to give her a 24 out of 30 on the realism. And the attire's fine. I don't think that there's anything great about it. I mean, these are painted on. This little piece is painted on. I think they went the cheapest possible route when making this figure. But I do like the bottom here, but the fact that she can't stand up is really bothering me. But for the attire, let's go with another 24 out of 30. So we've got 48, 58, 68. All right, so this is currently my lowest graded figure, and it has a lot to do with the figure doesn't come with anything but itself. So we are going with a 68 out of 100 for Brandy Rhodes here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move her to the side, and she's going to lay down, obviously, because she cannot stand up for whatever reason. I want to say that's probably going to be my biggest letdown of the entire collection. I'm glad that they put a girl into the first wave, but it was kind of poorly made. It was not a great figure compared to some of the other stuff that they have been putting out. So we're going to go ahead and get Cody Rhodes opened here. Cody Rhodes, owner of the company, the American Nightmare. Alrighty. See if we can stand that up in the back there. And all of these pictures that they show on the back there are from Double or Nothing. So that's pretty much what everything's coming from for this wave. And get them out. It is a kind of a bummer that the new tattoo is not on there. I feel like they might have... Ooh, the belt comes off. That's very nice. How do I get this plastic piece off of his waist? So I just slide it down? I don't understand these plastic pieces. Alright, we did get the plastic piece off here. So this is Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. And Attitude Killer, it says on the back. Assuming from the Attitude Era. Kind of a shot at Vince McMahon. Cody Rhodes starting from the bottom. Now he's here. And man, I took off that belt. And now I'm having a hard time getting it back on. But alright, so we got the accessories. Cody Rhodes isn't coming with much. He's coming with the belt. And he's coming with the sledgehammer. So those are the two accessories he's getting. The belt is super cool. The sledgehammer's whatever. I get why they wanted to include it. But overall, it's okay. Accessories, I'm probably going to give it a 12 out of 20. Alright, so moving on with Cody Rhodes. The next thing we're going to look at is the quality. Is there any blemishes coming right out of the package? I don't see any. I think it looks pretty good. We're going to go ahead and give it the full 10 out of 10. Don't have issues standing up, Cody, please. All right, quality, 10 out of 10. Mobility, how well does it move? Of course, it's got this ball, like this little ball-jointed hip here that is way more realistic than the Elite line and the Ultimate Edition line has going on right now. I really like that piece. The torso is like... it's not like plastic. It's more like it's like a soft plastic. You can kind of like, there's a difference between the top and the middle piece here. But anyways, back to the mobility with this arm. Okay. First time moving, this arm is a little difficult to move. Overall, not bad. Yeah, I just wish that those arms did not crack like that. It's just a terrible sound when you're trying to play with your figures. Overall, though, the mobility is going pretty good. Again, the odd design choice to not paint the balls underneath. Very interesting design choice. I would have, I don't know. What do you want for the $20 range in an Ultimate Edition? I'm having trouble with the mobility of Cody Rhodes' arm. So this is not going to get a full 10 out of 10, especially for his left arm here. It is having some trouble moving. So for the mobility, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Because I don't think I'll have a problem playing with it in my collection when I'm having a match. If I can get him to stand, there we are. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for mobility. Now the realism of this figure, it's not bad. The head, because we saw a little bit of it. Maybe it looked like, Cody Rhodes was wearing more makeup than Brandy Rhodes was, but my figure, I don't believe looks like that. I think it looks pretty good. Compared to this, the skin color is inaccurate. Just like most of the other stuff that's coming off here of this line. Besides for Brandy Rhodes, I think a lot of the skin color is inaccurate. And because of that, the realism is going to be knocked down. But this is probably the most realistic I've seen of the set so far. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 25 out of 30. Now the attire that they chose for this figure, obviously this is from the Double or Nothing, so it's not crazy to think, where they got it from, but it's pretty good. I want to get this belt back on, and I want it to stay. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Try to hook it up here. Hook. No, not being able to. I wish I didn't unhook it. I did not know it was going to be so hard. Okay, I think we got it. I think we got it back on. So, all right. So the attire, how cool is it? I really like this attire for Cody Rhodes. I think it's very, I don't know, it's very classic for him. I think it was a good choice. I can't get that belt to stay on for the life of me. Man, that is a bummer. Can't get that to stay on. Some of these plastic pieces that they chose, and they just don't like to stay together. You could see on the inside there. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I think we got it there, but that doesn't help me while it's not on them. So the attire they chose, I like the attire. It's probably up there. It's not as good as Jericho's, but it is up there. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 26 out of 30. So let's go ahead and give it the full breakdown. All right, so the Cody Rhodes figure, we are going to go ahead and give it an 81 out of 100. Coming in slightly under Kenny Omega, and largely due to the accessories. Kenny Omega came with a little bit more than Cody Rhodes, and because of that, it kind of dinged him there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to hold Brandy up here because she does not stand. We got the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and we got his wife, Brandy Rhodes. Both part of the Series 1 Unrivaled collection for AEW. Good to add to the collection, especially Cody Rhodes. Brandy Rhodes, I've got to get my daughter up and running on her own show there. But thanks for tuning in, guys. We are, if you haven't checked out the Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega video, check that out. And we'll also be doing the Young Bucks as well. So hit that subscribe button, and you can follow us on Instagram at Dad's Big Show. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.